What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Bear Show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Big win for the Chicago Bears on Black Friday in Philadelphia, beating the Eagles 24-15. Quite honestly, that was one of my favorite games I've watched as a Bears fan. It was, going into the game, you were a little nervous, but then once the game started rolling, the Chicago Bears started rolling as well. But before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe, become a patron today at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Again, going into that game, I was hoping that the Chicago Bears would get off the bus running, and that's exactly what they did. A big day for Monangai and Swift, or Monangai, excuse me, and Swift. It felt like every time they touched the ball, the Chicago Bears on the ground, for that matter, that the Chicago Bears were just getting chunk yards after chunk yards after chunk yards, to a tune of, Monangai had 5.9 average and Swift had a 6.9 average. Just domination on the ground. 22 carries for Monangai, 18 for Swift, 130 and 125 respectively. And it could have been more. It could have been a lot more. I felt like, the Bears, obviously they had to pass when needed to. Caleb passed 17 for 36, 154, 47.2 completion percentage, touchdown to interception, 2 sacks. Not a great day for Caleb Williams or the passing game for that matter. It was just something left to be wanted, man. It just keeps you wanting them to do more because it's just not enough. It's not good enough. Will it be good? I expect it to be. I expect them to grow, but as of right now, it's the running game that leads us. That's who we are. We are not an air it out type of team, not yet at least. But again, when you have this dual threat in Monangai and Swift, all of a sudden, and your defense, or excuse me, and your line, offensive line is getting tremendous push off the snap. It's hard for me to say, hey man, maybe we should try to get Caleb some more, some more passes in there. It's very hard for me to say, let's go ahead and switch it up by any means. I think that game plan, and again, game plans are going to adjust week to week. I understand that, but that game plan, that should be the game plan moving forward. Like at least leading with a heavy run. And again, will it be like that this week? I don't know, but I would expect with Micah Parsons on the other side, I would expect the Chicago Bears are going to try to put hands on him any way they can, whether that be, chipping him in the passing, in pass pro, whether that be, running 12 and just running right at him, maybe even getting some type of a pulling guard or a trap play where you get him, get some of these offensive linemen hitting him again. It's going to be very difficult for the Chicago Bears to go up to Green Bay, stand back there in shotgun and throw it 45 times. That's just not the remedy or the recipe to win the football game. It's not who you are as a football team, but I'm guessing that is the game plan moving into this week. And I know we're gonna get into this week in a little bit. I'm trying to pull up the Ben Johnson's press conference today. Here it is. We're gonna get into the Packer game a little bit, but again, like I said, what the Chicago Bears did this past week, I think that's it. That's the recipe. That's who you are. That's who you have to be. And quite honestly, if they hit on more of these passing plays while running down teams' throats, geez, look the fuck out. But let's go ahead and bring in my guest because I'm eager to see what he has to say. I actually want to know why he hates the Chicago Bears so much. And but anyway, let's go ahead and bring in our guy, the smartest man, Shayne Marsaw. And that's not it. There we go. There it is.
Hey, look at that.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Not
I feel
much.
like I just talked about the Bears a couple minutes ago, and I'm back doing it again.
Back at it.
Never enough time. With always time to talk about our favorite football team,
Oh,
especially now that I can let loose a little bit. I'm not restricted by CHGO
yeah,
and not being able to swear, but fuck the Eagles.
yeah.
That's all I got to say.
I was saying that the entire after game, like right before we went on air, I was just like, "Fuck the Eagles, fuck the fans." Like I have a deep disdain for that organization and the fan base. It's just, and I know you. It goes
Oh
deeper for
yeah.
you. It goes way deeper for you because family's involved. But again, it was just a fantastic win. It wasn't something I was expecting, but
Yep.
something I was elated over because the Chicago Bears did what we asked them to do and go ahead, bully a bully, have pretty much virtually a complete game. I would say it could have been better, especially in the passing game. But as far as offense, defense, and special teams, I thought it was their best game so far this year.
100%, man. And what made it the best, and I don't know, Ivan, you and I are always sending each other Instagram videos and funny videos and shit. And there's the one of the the country bumpkin, hillbilly and inside a Home Depot talking to this guy, and he's like, "Son, you need to shut the fuck up before I come over there and kick your ass." And the guy drops his bag into his cart, and he's like, "Oh shit, I want this." And he just walks right up. He's like, "I want. What are you gonna do? I
Right.
want this."
Yeah.
And the fucking hillbilly wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And that was what Chicago did. They went onto enemy turf and they looked at him and they're like, "Yeah, we're here to fuck you up and you're going to take it. And then when we're done, we'll see you in 40 seconds." And they just did it over and over and over again. I mean, did Ben Johnson have Vic Fangio flustered? I mean, what did Vic do to adjust to Ben Johnson through 4 quarters? What did he do?
It didn't seem like he had an answer.
He didn't. He did not. And that's the thing, somebody in the chat knew how, kind of Phil and I before the Bears hired Ben Johnson, and we talked about, you were with us too with Jim Harbaugh and all of that. I knowing what I know now, obviously we didn't have the benefit of hindsight before Ben Johnson was hired. I'm not getting rid of our guy for anybody. I'm not. Ben has some warts that in the things that he needs to work out, but I have very little doubt in my mind that he's going to with all of that. And he's got the proper amount of fuck you in him that I haven't seen from a Chicago Bears coach in a long time. When Lovey was here, he was just quiet and stoic. Ben isn't as loud and boisterous on the field as Mike Ditka is, but he's the dude that's going to take the needle and be precise, and he's going to put it right through the tip of your dick to inflict maximum amount of pain, and then he's going to tell you about it, and then he's going to do it again, and then he's going to do it again. And at the end of the fourth quarter, he's going to take that same needle and run it right through the center of your heart and end it. And I love that from our head coach. I do. And he gets the fucking role, dude. You can see there's Green Bay fans saying the way that he handled the fucking locker room and taking his shirt off is fucking cringe. No, it's not. It's not cringe. He was doing it for the city. He was doing it to feed people. He knows the fucking role. Go back and watch it and watch the look on Caleb Williams' face. Go look at Darnell Wright. They knew it was coming because they know who this dude is. He fucking takes his hat off, hands it to Kevin Byard. They knew it was coming, man. He's got the proper amount of fuck you. Now everybody knows. Like I said, defining moment Sunday. I feel like the Titanic has pivoted away from the iceberg, and now you're heading into port.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like I don't see why. Like if they knew the bet, obviously people don't know the background, the bet, and everything, or whatever, win your circle promise and everything like that.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, the energy that came from that entire fucking locker room, top to bottom, executives, players, the ball boy, whoever the fuck was
Oh yeah.
on in that organization, in that locker room right there, was locked on to Ben Johnson and every word he fucking said.
Yep.
I mean, it's something to be seen, man, because we haven't seen that shit in such a long time where a guy commands the room, but not only that, he energizes everybody in that room and he's energizing everybody in that organization and in this city. And for him to do that, I didn't expect it whatsoever. I was expecting like maybe he'd do it at the end of the year or what have you.
Yeah.
But I think this game was the
It fit it
perfect time to
beautiful.
do it.
Yeah. Totally agree, Ivan. And it just
Mhm.
like you said, he's commanded the respect. All right, here's a perfect example. How many post-game speeches have you rewatched as a Bears fan from the Bears head coach? I've seen almost every week. I've probably rewatched every one of them at least a dozen times. At least a dozen times. Because it inspired we are in the fucking desert dying of thirst and you're coming up on an oasis and you finally fucking make it. And
Mhm.
not only is it just an oasis of water, it's fucking chilled. And there's hot models everywhere. We're like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just, and we haven't done anything yet. We haven't won anything yet. We've exceeded expectations, but I don't have any doubt in my mind with Ben Johnson getting us to where we need to. I don't think he's afraid of making hard decisions. I think you're going to see a lot of those in the offseason. Like, oh shit, I didn't think that this dude was going to be gone.
Mhm.
And there he goes. But that is exactly what you want. Like I said, man, you were live with us. I was wrong on the Colston Loveland pick. I was wrong. It's not the way that I would have done it, and I'm just being honest. I was wrong. He's smarter than I am. He sees the forest through the trees and he knows what he was thinking and what he needed with this team. And Ivan, I brought this up on BHL. Tell me that Colston Loveland is not the most natural and best catcher of the football on your entire fucking team.
There was
He
that
is.
that catch that he made on the sideline that it wasn't a first down, it was close to a first down, but it was something like to be able to be athletic enough to run with I believe he has a corner at him,
Yeah. Oh
run
yeah.
with the corner, dive and make that type of catch while keeping presence of mind to hold on to the football.
Yeah.
That's something that you can't teach. And like I was angry. I walked out of Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Am I angry now? No. Like, you
No.
know what I'm saying? No, I'll deal with we could deal with whatever when we get to that point. But as of right now, the guy he's quickly becoming one of my favorite like target Bears.
Totally agree. And
Players,
Ivan,
quickly.
he's 21 years old. He's one of the youngest Bears
Mhm.
on the team. And the other fucking dog that again, this is another conversation that we're going to have, and he's not out of the doghouse yet in Ryan Poles, but Luther Burden's got some of that fuck you in him. Colston Loveland's got some of that fuck you in him. We know Caleb does. Manun guy has some of that fuck you in him. And what that is coming from your fucking head coach. His impact on this draft is exactly what we've been like. We need dogs. How many years have we said that? You know,
Forever.
the one guy on defense that they drafted, Shamar Turner, is a guy like that. He's got some fuck you in him, but he hasn't been healthy enough to, and is obviously out for the year. We're not going to be able to know until next year, but look at it, man. It's crazy. And not now. we're moving forward with Trapillo at left tackle, and Ozzy's showing more than a pulse. Is he perfect? No. Did he get beat by Nolan Smith? Yeah, he did. He's going to be seeing that shit again. But you know what? I have the confidence that our offensive line coach is going to have him coached up and ready for that.
No, absolutely. And it's you got to give kudos to Dan Roshar with what
All
from what
day.
we've seen with Morgan, from Chris Morgan to this. You know, he went out and called out, yeah, Darnell Wright, right?
Yeah.
Calls him out and didn't call him out to embarrass him, to make him feel like a piece of shit.
Yep.
He called him out to dig the best out of him because he saw the best in him, and it wasn't consistent enough. Now look at them. Now he's playing like a fucking all pro. You
Right.
know what I mean? And then adding Tooney right next to him, or, on the line as well is a huge advantage. But again, just like you said, seeing this from where we came from, it's just I think we've been so stressed for the past fucking God
Oh, yeah.
knows how long. And especially, once TTNL started up and then, you guys and then me, joining and everything like that. It was just the stress level about how this team was run, how this team was going to, come out of that darkness. We just didn't see it. And then God,
Yeah.
thank God for Lovey Smith and thank God for Davis Mills.
Dude, I've still to this day, I've done a lot of these fucking shows over the years, and still one of the top 3 moments in TTNL history that people will never see was tuning in. You and I were watching it live with Phil behind the fucking scenes, and you and I lost our ever loving shit.
Oh yeah.
And it was great, and it's where all of this started. It
Mhm.
really is. It's where all of it started, and it's I've always said, as I consider myself a fan first and foremost, but obviously doing this for as long as I have, you're an analyst, and people are looking to it's weird, when somebody that you've experienced it. I mean, s- I get people here in New York. I'm pumping gas, and the smartest man, that shit still blows my mind. Some dude I have no fucking clue who he is. I'm just pumping gas into my car, and they come up, and it's more so now because the Bears. I mean, it's they're a global fucking brand, and when the Bears are good and when they're winning, it makes a huge impact on everyday life for millions of people. And it's great, man. They have seemingly my confidence level in Caleb Williams has never been higher. My confidence in Ben Johnson, like I said, there's some things I think this offseason is going to be huge for Ben with the reevaluation and some shit. Like I got mad the other night when he went away from you know what I thought he needed to stay with, but I just think he's got that aggressiveness in him. He wanted to slay the fucking dragon, and it didn't cost him, but you're starting to hit on a lot of things that we've been begging for. Ozzy Trapillo wasn't fucking ready. And what do? They sit him down and they leave him there until coach him up while he's not playing. And you want to know something else, Ivan, that this should inspire confidence? Don't ever forget. So you and I are big fans of Dan Roshar, and I know that Phil is too. Don't forget that Dan Roshar singled out an offensive lineman as being probably the most talented overall of all of them, and he's not even fucking playing. And it's a guy that everybody's low on because he can't stay healthy. In Karan Amagaji. Don't ever fucking forget that. Don't forget that. That's a key fucking piece to all of this and what Dan Roshar believes in. It's huge, man. You have fucking options along the offensive line. We've lost our starting left tackle
Mhm.
2 times this year. And we might have the best option of all in there moving forward. We'll see. Still a long way to go. We've never had that before.
No.
Ever. Ever. I can remember the life that we lived when Brian Urlacher got hurt in the beginning of the year and your fucking season was done.
That's it. Because nobody else could run the defense like
Right.
Brian Urlacher.
It's crazy.
And
You lost.
not only that, he just the middle of the field was shut down. But you could continue, Shane.
No. I'm just saying that's the thing. We've lost Jalen Johnson. We've lost Kyler Gordon. We've lost Tyreek Stevenson. We've lost a second round draft pick in Shamar Turner. The list that's just on defense, and it's still survive and advance. All your linebackers are down. Survive and advance. Has our defense regressed since losing these guys? No, they haven't. You've discovered in DeMarco Jackson a guy that I think is better than Noah Sewell and needs to be in the starting lineup when the other guys are back.
Yeah.
DeMarco Jackson can play fucking football.
Yeah, and I don't the thing you don't hear his name on bad call. I mean, I'm
No.
sure they're in there if I go ahead and look deeply, but he's doing a solid job from a guy you wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying? And all that comes from coaching, Shane. It all comes from a strong foundation and coaching. And that's what Ben Johnson has brought to the table. And it's like, from Lovey to Tressman to fucking Fox to Nagy, all these fucking guys. You just never saw that solidified. You never saw the plan, right? And easily enough, we see the plan now. Maybe not at the beginning of the game or of the season, but we see the plan now. And if it just allow it to grow, I think Ben Johnson is going to take us to where we need to be. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Real quick, Karan Amagaji is a guy that just gets lost in the mix, like you said. How do you feel they're going to go ahead and try to elevate him back? Is he going to be a guard, or will they just try to utilize him as a all-purpose type of lineman?
I think I mean, I don't know who he's going to supplant. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it to me, it's pretty clear that they've, and I think it's key. You know, Phil and I are on record on CHGO, and they asked us flat out pre-Philadelphia Eagles game who you think should start, and I said Ozzie Trapillo, even over Theo, because I think it helps you get the blueprint of not to get into the offseason, but if he goes out there and proves it, it changes your fucking offense, your off season fucking completely.
Mm-hmm.
It does, because if he goes out there and listen, it's weird. You're in a position with 2 left tackles in Trapillo and Benedette. Benedette is a better run blocker and struggles in pass pro, and Ozzie's the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's way more upside with Ozzie, just the sheer size of him, and he's showing signs on pass pro that I think he can get. He's got a little bit of that fuck you in him, like most BC linemen do. I'm not. I think he's going to be fine in the running game as he gets more comfortable in this, and then Karan becomes the ultimate fucking wild card, man. It's what good teams have. They have not just options, they have viable replacements with upside. That's what good organizations do. And it's you're not writing his name in pen at a specific position. You're just going to go out there and you're going to say, all right, hey, so and so went down. You're the next man up. get out there and go do it.
Right. And I would love to see that because Karan, you want to see a draft pick pan out, and with so many misses from Ryan Poles, he's had some hits late as of late. So I would just like to see that work itself out. He's young. You got Dan Roshar in his
Yeah.
corner. Let's see what he could develop into. Sticking with the offense before we go to, because I'm going to keep it at, like, we're out of here at 45-minute show today. I'm going to keep it short.
Yeah.
But Caleb Williams and the wide receivers. There were times where it looked like Caleb missed. There was times where it looked
Yeah.
like the receivers could have made adjustments and made a play. Where do you think it comes together? Because for me, I feel like the formula's there, right? You have
Mhm.
the formula, and with seeing how many opportunities you had to get big plays in almost every game you've played so far, when does it all come around?
It just takes one game, Ivan. I really feel like that, and I feel like Greg brought this up when we just did After Dark, and I believe it. I felt like it's funny, like Robert Mays, who I I've interviewed Robert. We've had him on TTNL, and it's like a lot of these guys that are analysts and Bears fans are so fucking afraid to be wrong, or so afraid to let people know that they're actual Bears fans. Fuck that. That's where it all started out. End of the day, if I leave TTNL, I'm always going to be a fucking Bears fan. No matter what. I don't give two shits what anybody thinks. I can be open and honest, and I can be critical of the Bears and still be a Bears fan. But Robert came out and said, Caleb played awful. I don't think he did. I don't think that he played awful football. I actually feel like Caleb Williams took a really big step in the fourth quarter versus Philadelphia. After he had the interception on the screen to Monungai, and
Mhm.
that's on Caleb. You gotta put a little bit more air under that. Jalen Hunt is a good player, 6 foot for it. It's not like he's a short guy, but fourth quarter numbers for Caleb, he was 5 for 6 with the touchdown to Cole. But I think the separator, Ivan, is he was changing throttles on his fucking fastball, where he wasn't like, all right, I'm good. If you need him to throw a football through a piece of plywood, he can do it.
Right.
I don't need you to do that every fucking pass.
Mhm.
Like that play to Cole Kmet, not sure if people realize how, what degree of difficulty that play actually was. That was USC Caleb Williams right there.
Perfect amount of touch, perfect placement, and it was rolling out to his left. Like,
Yeah. And not really the number one or number two option on the play. It was, I see the fucking kill shot and I'm gonna take it. And he did it. And I feel like he's calming down. He still needs to, like, and I know that Phil is adamant that he's more so putting it on Rome, the one in the end zone. I think it's both.
mhm.
Rome could have come back more on that, but if you watch the tape, Caleb's internal clock is at like fucking sonic speed. And he actually, I don't know if he stubs his toe, but Ivan, when he threw the fucking football, he has both feet in the air, not even on the field. And there was no reason for it. He
Right.
had a clean pocket. He could have stood there, stepped up in the pocket, and fucking ripped it. And it would have got there. Rome, yes, could still come back, but don't forget, in the Ben presser today, he praised Rome for the elite route that he ran to get to that point on that play.
Yeah, and it was because Rome was wide the fuck open.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, It was both. Like, there's no doubt because I felt Rome because he turns, he looks, and I'm like, Rome, go like move your feet, get back, like turn back to the field. Like it just seemed like he
And
stopped and expected the ball to.
and I think something that, well, I don't want to say nobody's talking about it because I've heard people say it, but that's going into the wind,
Mhm.
and he was throwing that across the field, and that's it's in terms of what yard line they were on and throwing it to the beginning of the end zone. Isn't impressive, but when you're on the opposite hash and throwing that, and it was 100% all arm. There was almost no mechanics involved at all on that. So, but you go back and you're like, where are they going to get on the same page? Ben also called out the wide receivers today,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, let's
talking
go ahead and
about
just yeah, let's jump into it because he did exactly what he was talking about the routes and
yep.
how depth wasn't being cleaned up. But let's hear from Ben Johnson today in the press conference.
Just to piggyback on the game from Friday, just really proud of how the group came out and competed. They played hard for 60 minutes. I think that was evident on the tape and in all three phases. It was good for the whole city, I think, to get that win. I think that was a big one for us. And so our players were able to enjoy a couple days to be with their loved ones. And now we're back in the building and cleaning this game up, and then we'll be on to the next one tomorrow. But we got a big challenge. We got 5 games remaining here, and as we've been saying all along, our goal each week is to find a way to get to 1-0 for that week. So I'll go ahead and open it up from there.
First question, Dan.
Ben, I got 2 questions for you. They're very different in theme. The first one, we obviously understand your eagerness to feed Chicago, but I'm curious when the idea of your shirt removal entered consideration for you on Friday.
Well, yeah, that was a spur of the moment deal, I guess. But I figured the sooner the better because I'm
Ben
not
knows he's pretty
very
ripped
much
up and he's
anymore,
playing all
so
coy.
This
right.
thing keeps getting a little bit worse as we go along in the season. So no, it was good, man. I hate to draw attention away from our players, but the intent was to bring up the city of Chicago
Ivan, can
and
you
hopefully
pause
give
it real
them
quick?
a little excitement.
I just want to point this out because that was Dan Weeder, and I talked about this on CHGO. And this is the type of shit, and I'm not specifically pointing to Dan. I'm talking about media in general. This is one of the biggest wins for the Chicago Bears in years. It's a statement win. All of these beat reporters that have been covering the Bears for a decade, 5 years, 7 years, when you listen to them do their individual pods and shows, all of them say, oh, I just wish we could cover a team that was fighting for the playoffs. And oh my, it's so nauseating to be covering the Bears and they're losing every year. And you're covering, the coaching carousel and talking about draft picks in November and December. And it's so nauseating. So Dan's leading off the fucking show, the presser today, and you knew that the Wiener Circle shit was gonna, so that's fine. That's not even fucking really game related. Listen to what his first fucking question in one of the biggest wins for this franchise and the single biggest win that Dan has ever covered for the Chicago Bears. Listen to what his first question is.
And because they're a big part of this journey as we're going through the season also. So want to bring attention to them.
I wanted to ask you about 2 end zone misses Caleb had in the first half. The
There
one
you go.
to Olamide,
It drives me fucking
in
nuts.
the first quarter
Let's
play
go to
action
the
there,
2
and then
misses
the other
in
one
the
to
biggest
Rome front right
win that
pylon on
we've
the other
had in
side of the field.
decades.
What did you diagnose in terms of what caused those to miss?
Well, yeah, the first one was a keeper to the right, and we didn't quite get the execution on the front side the way we wanted to, and so Caleb quickly got off of it, and we actually call that backside route by Olamide a hero post on the backside of our keepers. It's one of those that's almost rarely ever thrown. We always talk about, hey, if you're if you're a third or fourth string quarterback in the preseason and you want to be a hero, that's when you throw that thing. And because it's so rarely thrown, he happened to find it. It was open, and we just barely missed that thing. So that was that one. And then the other one to Rome is very similar to where Rome is on the backside of the concept. Rome ran a great route, and Caleb was working through his progression. The front side didn't work out the way that we needed it to. And so as he was getting back to his second and third read, he ended up seeing Rome pop and just left it a little bit short. So both of those were a little bit of him just seeing the field really well, similar to the Cole touchdown, where not necessarily the primary or secondary read, yet he's seeing it and he's trying to pull the trigger to the open guy. So I think it was good on his behalf being able to see all that.
See, now I would be more worried if he wasn't getting through his progression, Shayne.
Right.
And you were seeing the Justin Fields 1, 2, 3 go, like tuck it and try to escape, a disaster. But again, can he be better? 100%. But I think those things are more of more fundamentals, like more fundamentals of throwing, right? It's just you got to work on it. You got to get better. It's all about getting better at this point, but he's not a broken quarterback.
No, at all. And for some weird reason, like I said, I think, and listen, I'm not trying to TTNL. We always get painted because we call stuff out like this. And I respect the hell out of Dan Weeder, and Dan does a great job. It just, how the fuck is that your lead question? I understand asking it at some point, but I just don't know how it's the lead question when it's the biggest win that the Bears have had in a fucking decade on the road against the defending Super Bowl champions, a game that almost nobody picked Chicago to win. You know what I mean? It's irritating. I watch plenty of these pressers, listen to them. I just don't hear this shit going on anywhere else but Chicago. And it doesn't end there. It's you win 24-15 where you fucking bitch slapped the Philadelphia Eagles for 4 quarters. How about, I don't know, Ben, you almost rushed for 300 yards on Friday. Talk about your game plan and maybe kind of, how you decided to attack Philadelphia with this run game with, 47 carries.
It's just hard. It's hard to listen to at times. We've heard it for so many years. Just and like you said, they want everything to be happy, but again, then they want to bring shit back to like the negatives. But I'm not partial to them pointing out certain things. But like you said, you just whooped the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions' ass. Ask about what you did to prepare to win, right? Ask about those things, not just, hey, Caleb missed these 2 throws. What do you think about that? That's just, I think it's baiting him to say something negative about Caleb.
Right. And it's how about, Ben, this is the biggest win for this franchise in a long time. You haven't even completed your first year. Can you talk about how critical and important a guy like Joe Thuney is to this franchise in settling an offensive line that's been in constant upheaval for, I don't know, 20 fucking years?
Fuck, if you want to talk about Caleb, ask what Joe Thuney has done, to help Caleb out. Like, what is that relationship like? Ask, there's just so many more things you can ask, except you wanted to ask about 2 misses that Caleb had in a victory. To your point, it's frustrating.
It is. And, Olin came out today. Olin thinks that Jonah Jackson should be first team All-Pro. Listen, the Pro Bowl, they're never going to get rid of the Pro Bowl for contracts and incentives and all of that shit. The Pro Bowl is the Pro Bowl. It's fine. All-Pro is where it's at. and you have the potential to have gotten a first team all pro set of offensive guards for a 6th and 4th round draft pick. And that's, you gotta credit Ryan Poles there. And I understand anybody could trade for Joe Tooney, and Ben Johnson was connected to Jonah Jackson. I get it. You still gotta give him credit, man. He's involved in that process.
Speaking of credit, we got a $20 holler from Slick 1020 Shayne, which is not your name. Poles doesn't deserve to be shit talked after a win. Me, yes, you could literally put Phil in his job and probably would have the same results. Phil or Poles is not why they're winning. It's due to coaching.
I would put it more on coaching, but listen, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. And he orchestrated, and I know that it's easy to trade the number 1 pick. He still orchestrated the situation that got us Caleb. You know what I mean? He tried to trade down twice, and then Houston balked, and he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make the deal with Carolina. Carolina was at 9. He still had the forethought to look and be like, Carolina may give us the number 1 fucking pick next year overall. That's what it was. And I don't want to hear shit from anybody saying that, moving on from Justin was hard. No, it wasn't. It wasn't hard. It was easy. Very easy for multiple quarterbacks in this draft, because the Bears, had not had the number 1 overall pick, guess what? They were still drafting a quarterback. They were done with Justin. But it's Ryan Poles, I think, this is hard to even put into proper context. The coaching was so bad and the environment was so toxic. I think very talented players took the brunt of that, and it almost made them look like they weren't good players. Where when you put them around an environment of football where it's, winning is the number 1 priority within this locker room. And oh, by the way, we're not just going to give you reps on the field. We're going to teach you off the field, in the classroom. Like, explain to me how Ozzie Trapillo got better sitting down if you don't believe in your coaches.
Right.
Explain to me how Colston Loveland in the first couple weeks of the season was nowhere to be seen almost. It's coaching. The talent is there. We know that. That's why you're a top 10 pick. It's why you're a 1st or 2nd or 3rd round pick. The coaching has to it's like planting a fucking flower.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to water it. You have to pull the fucking weeds. Get rid of the fucking warts. Get rid of the bad soil. And that's the thing where I think Ryan Poles probably deserves a little bit more credit in some of these players, that they're actually very talented. He just didn't do them justice with the coaching staff that he had around them.
Yeah, I agree. It's right. You want to give him credit, but then you don't want to let him off the hook for past, transgressions. It's you got to give him praise where he's due praise, but you also have to be conscientious of, hey man, like, you had a lot of misses. So going into this season, as good as, as happy as I am right now about where we're at and what's going on, when we go into this next offseason, it's probably the biggest offseason for Ryan Poles because you're going to have to hopefully add to a playoff contender, right? And actually try to figure out what players you can do without, and that's going to be part of Ben Johnson and his. I think they're going to be tandem in this. I know you have who's the assistant GM? I keep forgetting his name.
Ian Cunningham.
Ian Cunningham, and then you have Ian as well. So I think it's going to be all those guys together trying to figure out what is best for the Chicago Bears moving forward as far as players in the draft. But let's keep moving forward with this because I want to get to Ben soon.
Pat Finley.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hanging in there.
Good. In the introductory press conference you had when you got hired, you said you had enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Why was it important for you to get across the Packer rivalry to the fan base?
Yeah,
touch on it, I guess.
It's a big week. It's a big week. We know how important this rivalry is, so just wanted to address that.
From afar, what was your view of the rivalry before coming here?
It's one of those that I think lives in NFL history. I think it goes back for a long time. Two of the most winning franchises in the NFL, and I think that continues to be the case. So it's a big one.
Courtney.
Ben, I know you talked about how important it was just to get the win for the city, but in terms of the NFC standings, to get the win on Friday, but then see what happened yesterday, what was your reaction after that Rams game when you guys become the 1 seed for now?
Oh, it doesn't mean anything. There's 5 games left.
I love that response.
We got a long ways to go, and we have not been guaranteed a spot in the tournament yet. We have to earn that right.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can earn that right is by finding a way to win the next game. So that's where our sole focus is.
And I know Caleb's talked about it before, just there's passes that he's missing that are concerning to him because they're ones that he doesn't usually miss. And just like how off target he was on Friday on a couple of them, like where are your concern level with his accuracy right now?
It's an area that we are certainly talking about. There's no question. I will say in regards to Friday that was one of the more challenging games in terms of the wind. And so I called a outbreaker to DJ early in that game, and DJ ran a phenomenal route. And yet when the ball's in the air that long, that wind was taking care of it. And you could see it with the place kickers as well. It did a number on Philly's kicker where, the wind was a major factor. And so after that throw, I was a little bit concerned, particularly going that direction of putting the ball in the air for too long for a guy like Caleb, who's got a super strong arm too. So I would say that plays a part, but there's a number of them that we've been talking about where we got to fundamentally be correct. The primary receiver, when he's open, we want to make sure we hit him. And then all of our pass catchers, we just harped on it today. We need to be more disciplined in our route detail. It's not where it needs to be. Our depth's not proper all the time. Our steps isn't. And so everybody's got a role to play to get this pass game cleaned up. It's not where it needs to be. We're winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it. And none of us are pleased with that right now.
You could tell it bothers
Kevin?
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, sticking with the wind element, obviously with, all your outdoor games coming up in December and January, what were some kind of coaching points for yourself or things for Caleb that you learned from that experience on Friday moving forward?
Well, each game's different. And as much as you want to forecast it ahead of time and look at the what the meteorologists say, you really don't know until you get out there for pregame. And so these guys understand how important it is to get a good feel, make sure you got the right cleats on so we're not slipping on our routes, and make sure that we're forming that hook up there in pregame. And so when I come out, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm always asking the coaches, how did it look? How's he spinning it? And it gives you confidence as a play caller when you feel like it's not really making much of a difference, which there were a couple games earlier in the season where I felt like it could, and it really didn't. And I needed to call the game more aggressive early, whereas this game, it did create more of an issue, primarily there in the first half. I thought in the second half, it died away a little bit, but something that we're always conscious of as coaches.
And you talked about the accuracy. What other elements of Caleb's game are you looking to hope to get some growth in these final 5 weeks to kind of help? You and Caleb both talked about, you guys, the best is still yet to come, how you can get
It's all
there.
his footwork in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think
really that's where it's at.
what you don't see is how smooth that operation was on Friday. Maybe you do. I certainly noticed it. I thought that was one of the better jobs he's had in terms of getting the play call, calling it in the huddle, getting the motions, the shifts. I mean, we had a lot of moving parts there in that game to create some eye candy for those defensive players, and I thought he executed it really well for the most part. I screwed up a play call, and he made it right for me, and so that was good to see. So he's getting better each and every week in that regard of playing the quarterback position. Like I said, it's all hands on deck for us to clean up this passing game to make it more of a weapon.
Herb?
Coach, I know the goal is 1-0 and 100% focused on Green Bay as it should be. And I feel like it's probably a little bit easier at times during the season when there were still questions about competition or quarterbacks of the opposing teams. Now you guys have gone out. You've beat two people that came in as division leaders. You got a statement win out in Philly. Does it become more challenging as a team to stay locked in on only this week and not start thinking big picture in terms of, well, how far can we actually take this team? Are we the best team in the conference in the National Football League?
Didn't you just say that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the emphasis has always been
it's a good professional question from the beat
game.
reporter, Ivan.
I just like I told the group this
I mean, he's
morning,
been
the job
saying
is
it
not
all
done. We haven't
year,
accomplished anything
going
yet.
week to week.
We're at 9 wins, and I think this year you're probably going to have to get to 11 to make it in the tournament. And so that's what we need to do. We got to get there first. We got to find a way to get there, and the only way to do that is to find a way to be 1-0 this week.
Nick?
Ben, when you run the balls effectively as you did on Friday, can you sense the frustration as a play caller from the Philadelphia Eagles defense that they just couldn't stop the run? Can you sense that frustration from them?
From the booth?
I probably wasn't watching their body language a whole lot, but I mean, I do feel the 4s, the 6, the 8s. They add up. And then our players come to the sideline, and they're calling for it a little bit. I hear our O-line coach, harping a little bit, run the damn ball, that type of thing. And so I hear it, I feel it, I see it. And so as a play caller, you try to adjust. And like I said before, I'll do whatever it takes to win the ball game, score points. And if that's throw it 50 times, we'll do that. If it's run it 50 times, we'll do that. So we're a little bit more run oriented here this past week.
Unless you had a camera into the Philadelphia Eagles play booth, you didn't know what the fuck Vic Fangio was feeling.
Nobody's looking at the body language of the coaches. I mean, in the midst of an NFL game, like I said, I've never been able to on the sidelines for an NFL game, but I've had the opportunity a couple of different times to be on the sideline for a Division I college football game, and it's pure insanity. I mean, it's literally the last thing on their minds is the body language of the opposing team's coaches. They just don't have time.
No, it's ridiculous.
Phil?
Thanks, Ben. So this shirtless business, when this idea was first brought to you, I want to know what were some of the thoughts that were going through your mind, and then seeing how this has blown up in the last couple of days. What has been your reactions, or what have some reactions that you've heard from people to you doing the whole shirtless thing?
To be honest with you, I haven't heard anything from outside of the building. My wife was just laughing. That's about it. Yeah, I guess my 2-year-old was watching the TV screen back at home, and she's like, no shirt. She just pointed at the screen, no shirt. And my wife had no idea what was going on. So that's really about how that went. I think anytime you get a chance to feed a city, you want to do it. So man of the people.
Jason?
Ben, what has the journey been like for you as a coach personally to go from starting from scratch when you take over to the frustration you had with a lot of the sloppiness in training camp to what you saw Friday?
No, I think that's why you do what you do. You want to see a team come together. You want to see each phase continue to get better. You want to see each player continue to get better. And I think we've seen that I think what makes you proud as a coach is when you watch some guys go down because of attrition, injury, you know, whatever that is, and other guys step up in their stead and answer that bell. And I think we've had a number of guys that have done that over the course of the year, and the team just rallies around them. I think that's the beautiful thing about sports, particularly team sports like we're in. It takes all of us to have success. And as fortunate as we are to be winning football games right now, everyone knows that there's a way that happens, and we're committed to doing the right work. Coaching staff doesn't take any shortcuts. Our players don't take any shortcuts, and to see it all come to life and them get some results that they desperately desire, I think that's always a beautiful thing.
Dan?
Ben, connected to Herb's question about this team being able to be present and locked in on each week, that's easy to preach, harder to attain. How do you describe the coaching principles that bring that about, and then the locker room components that allow a team to be so consistently locked in?
Well, I mean, we've got some good veteran leadership. I think I've been saying that for the last few weeks, where they help control that narrative there in the locker room. There's no question in my mind that they won't let the fact that we've won 9 games go to anybody's head. Like I've been saying all along, we have not achieved anything yet, and the season's far from over. The job is not done. You can say it any number of ways. Our guys are going to understand that there's a lot of ball left to be played, and we got to continue to get better if we want to continue the course that we've charted for ourselves.
Exactly.
Last one, Pat.
Ben, whether it's this week or whether it
It's
was in
another
training
fucking
camp,
question.
did you guys do anything to kind of get to tell the story of the Packers rivalry, to let some of these guys know just how important it is around here?
Yeah, right before they went to bed, he took them in and fucking told them the story of the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears.
Did you hear what the answer was, though?
I didn't.
George was sitting down with the rookies today about it. But that's what he does.
That's
Whatever.
George. So
Like
that's George.
it is. But just real quick, Ivan, before you move on, I wanted to Lick 1020 had a couple of comments in there.
Yeah.
And Lick, I'm not trying to single you out or call you out here, but you're 100% wrong. 1,000,000% wrong. Ben Johnson was getting paid no matter where he went. He was literally on a plane heading to Washington last year and bowed out in air and had the plane turn around because he didn't want to take the job in Washington because of the situation. He's been extremely calculated, and money was the last thing, because every team that wanted Ben Johnson knew they were going to have to pony up. It was just a given. If Carolina was going to pay him, Chicago was going to pay him, Washington was going to pay him, no matter where he ended up. He didn't come here for money. He came here because of the situation. And when you look at it, the Bears committed to Matt Eberflus in 2024. He was on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly feel like he had enough forethought to be like, you know what? They probably aren't going to survive another year in Chicago, that staff. And I'm not loving the situation here because I know that they're not going to have a shot at Caleb at number 2. And everybody knew that Washington was going to take Jaden Daniels. That was known for a long, long time. I don't think that he believed in Jaden. I really don't, as a long-term answer. So his best bet was, I can stay in Detroit and win for one more year, and fuck, we might even win the Super Bowl. They didn't. And then Chicago opens up. And don't forget, Detroit lost. 24 hours later, he was the head coach of the Bears. That doesn't just happen because on a whim.
Yeah.
He knew.
Yeah, and like GDD Vibes says, go back to his first presser, he stated that Caleb was a large part of the
100%.
decision. And absolutely, why? I mean, with the talent, you got a number 1 overall pick, going into a second year. You're an offensive play caller who's calling the top offense in the league, right?
Yep.
You have everybody falling at your feet, and you
And
choose Chicago in less than 24
Yeah.
hours. Like,
And don't forget, Rick Smith, his agent, is based in Chicago and is a lifelong Chicago Bears fan. And he knew everything about the toxic nature of the franchise. He let him know. He came here because he got assurances on power, and he had the quarterback that he believed in. 100%. It didn't have anything to do with money. I promise you. He was getting paid no matter where he went.
no, I agree. I feel lucky that we got him here. And like you said, thank God he had the foresight to say, hey, let me write it out with Detroit and see what happens, after that. And did we get lucky? Yeah, but we got lucky with
Sure.
with plenty of things. Caleb, we got lucky with fucking Lovey and Davis Mills. Like, what I mean? Like, it's
Slick, he could have went anywhere.
Yeah.
He could have chosen where he went. Tom Brady wanted to move heaven and earth for him to coach in Vegas. And guess what? He didn't go there. Why? They don't have a quarterback. Ben was extremely calculated and was never going to start off his career without having exactly what he wanted at quarterback. That's not you're overthinking it, man. You are.
I think you are, Slick. We appreciate the comments, but it's he literally said those words.
Slick, you're cool, bro. I mean, now you're moving the goalposts.
Yeah, what does the living situation have to do with the football team? Is the football team good? No.
When you're making $14 million a year, you can live wherever you want.
Right, get a summer home in Vegas. Do whatever the fuck you want. All right, let's go ahead and just last 5 minutes of the show. I want to just get your quick thoughts on this week. And the biggest question, I guess, for me would be how you slow down Micah Parsons.
Run right at him.
Like to hear that.
You say I have the same game plan that you had in Philadelphia. You want to negate a big time pass rusher, and let's be honest. Listen. Micah Parsons is fantastic. I'm not dismissing his talent at all. He's not the biggest guy in the world. It's not like Julius Peppers. I'm talking. In physical, nature. But that's how you neutralize Julius Peppers at 6'7", 290. You ran right at him. And it's critical. And I think, the Green Bay has an excellent defense. They do. They just lost Wyatt, so that's gonna hurt. I think the X factor in this game actually could be Caleb Williams and his feet making plays. I really do, because they're going to be cued in on Monungai, and they're going to be cued in on DeAndre Swift. And you may have to make some plays with Caleb and his feet to get that extra guy out of the box.
Right.
And, we'll see. Don't forget, with everything that was going on last year, and I understand that the Green Bay wasn't at full strength and stuff like that, but Caleb went into Lambeau last year and made some fucking plays. And the Bears came away with a W. So he's got the experience. This isn't uncharted territory for him up there. And oh, by the way, you have 110% upgrade at head coach. You have 110% upgrade at offensive line coach. You have 110% upgrade at offensive coordinator with Ben Johnson. You have 110% upgrade with Dennis Allen at defensive coordinator. So run right at him. That's got to be the game plan.
I would love to see the Chicago Bears go up to Lambeau Field and have the same game plan be just, executed to the highest extent. I would love to see that. But, so part of me feels like the tight ends might be a bigger factor in the pass game than, we've probably seen. I think there's going to be a lot of 12. I think there's going to be a lot of misdirection boots to keep
They're
that
going to run
defense off
13.
balance.
They were in 13
Yeah.
personnel on the pass to Cole Kmet
Mhm.
on the dagger shot.
Yeah, they were in heavy
know?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely see that. But my thing is just put hands on Parsons any fucking way you can. Like you said, run right at him. I love that. But any way you can, passing game, running game, whatever, put fucking hands on him.
Yeah. Yeah, and exactly. And Slick, just to, like I said, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole anymore, but Ben could have come here and picked his quarterback. You already had Caleb Williams. So yeah, he came here and picked his quarterback. He did. That's why he came here. It's the number one reason why he came here. And you can say, oh, you said when I made the comment about him praising the quarterback, you're like, dude, it was just a presser. But then you come back and your retaliation is, well, he also mentioned team president. Stop. Quarterback situation had way more to do with it. Way more. That's why he's here. You didn't have Caleb. You have Tyson Bagent. Guess what? I don't think he's here.
No, I don't think he's here. I don't think he's here at all. But
he sure as fuck wasn't coming if it was Justin Fields.
No. Well, how's Tyrod Taylor doing in New York?
Yeah.
Pretty well. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Just a little sneak peek to the week ahead with the Packers. I don't believe Steve has a show tomorrow, but on Wednesday, keep it at 100 with us. Make sure you check us out. Also, Cars Keys on Thursday. Tune into him. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have pregame, halftime on Patreon, and BHL, of course, at the end of every Bears game. Shayne, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. I'm happy you got to relish in a Bears victory over the Philadelphia Eagles with the fam and everything like that, man. That must have been very enjoyable.
Oh, it was. I sent out some quality text messages that I'm strangely enough still waiting for a response on some of them, but yeah, my brother-in-law is the biggest culprit. I got a text from him around the end of the first quarter, and it said, "Fuck you and fuck this team. I'm done watching this team full of pussies. I will not watch one more second." And that's the last I've talked to him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's typical. Awesome. That's typical Philadelphia Eagles fan, and they live in. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl and they're ready to blow the whole fucking franchise into eternity.
Oh my God, my favorite moment was watching them leave. That was mine. But
oh yeah.
Anyways, guys, that's a wrap. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for Keeping It 100. I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Shayne Marsaw. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Become a patron today. www.thetapeneverlies.com. I'll leave you guys with this, and we're out.